Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show, which is at 7:35 p.m., we will, of course, talk about the lovely late summer slash early autumn weather that we're having in much of the eastern United States. We are also going to be watching for the potential for subtropical storm development late this week off the southeast coast of the U.S. So we'll cover it all tonight at 7:35 right here on my YouTube channel. So just want to quickly start off with what's going on in the upper air. Well, okay, let's not do that. Let's start off with the satellite loop, where we still have some leftover clouds in upstate New York and New England. That's yesterday's storm system and cold front, and you can see the front is fairly well defined offshore by these brighter white cloud tops that extend from Nova Scotia southeast, south, and southwestward across Florida and into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Now, this part of the front here is going to stall out, or it already has actually, and we're going to be watching the area east of the Florida coast and south of the Carolinas, where we think there's a really good chance that we could see a subtropical system develop late this week, and it will probably have some impact on the weather along the East Coast this weekend. And the reason for that, now we can go to the upper air. We, of course, have this trough that moved into the east yesterday and is pulling out, so we're left with a nice big high that's going to be building. But notice that there's also another upper low here in Iowa with a trough that extends south eastward to the eastern Gulf of Mexico. At least it will Wednesday morning. And then as we move along, we're going to see that upper trough. Part of it pulls up, but the southeastern part of it forms another upper low off the Florida East Coast by early Friday morning, and it's from this that we could see some subtropical storm development. Initially, this is a cold core feature, but because of the time of year, the very warm ocean temperatures off the southeast coast of the United States, it wouldn't take much for a system to develop and make a transition from a cold core system to a warm core system. And then as we go through the weekend with this cutoff sitting in North Carolina, it starts to pull northward. So we think there's a fairly good chance that even if the center of the storm doesn't come up the coast, the rain is likely to come up the coast, because if we look at the flow, this is Saturday evening, it's pretty much straight up from the south along the eastern seaboard. So that's kind of where we're at with respect to what's going on. And I'll show you the surface map in a moment. Let's just go through the rest of the weather that's going on this afternoon. We've got a few scattered showers in upstate New York and in parts of northern New England left over from yesterday's system. But the radars from southern New England, southeastern New York, and Pennsylvania southward into central Florida and west across the Gulf states are just utterly quiet at the moment. You're seeing some showers in South Florida. That's near that frontal boundary. We also have some showers and a few thunderstorms in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas, as well as an east-west band that is snaking through Iowa and back into the lower Great Lakes. This radar is as of 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time, in case you're watching it on a replay, and you can always get updated information on radars and everything else if you go to weather.gov, the National Weather Service website. So here's our Storm Prediction Center's forecast for today. As we take a look at that, there's a marginal to slight risk of severe weather from north central Texas into Oklahoma. And really, that's just about it. The entire eastern United States, for the most part, everybody east of the Mississippi, south to North Florida, not going to see any thunderstorms today, and really not much in the way of any weather along the eastern seaboard until we get this low to get going. WPC has scaled back from the overnight forecast, the rainfall, with about 1.5 inches reaching southern New England and 2 to 3 inches for the Delmarva Peninsula. But I think there was wavering in the guidance back and forth on this, and today's runs are kind of gone back the other way and trying to bring significant rain up through the coastal mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast, at least the coastal areas of the Northeast, come this weekend. So now we can focus our attention on what the surface here looks like. And again, no issues for the rest of today, obviously. No issues tomorrow, no issues Thursday, and probably into early Friday. Daytime highs will be into the 70s, nighttime lows will be in the 40s in inland spots and mid 50s everywhere else. Then, as we get to Friday, the high moves off the coast of Maine, and you start to see that developing low off the east coast of Florida, south of the Carolinas. During the day on Friday, actually develops rather quickly, and pressures fall rather quickly too. It does have a look that maybe this is going to be subtropical. This is Friday night, so we don't have any rain to worry about into Friday night. Then the low is forecast to track into eastern North Carolina and an area of rain, big rain. You see it there, east of Virginia. The Delmarva Peninsula moves up into southern New Jersey, Long Island, and southern New England, and then into southeastern New England. The low itself tends to weaken since it's moving on a coast right along the immediate coast, maybe just a bit inland. It could wind up being a little further west than that. So I think either way, I feel pretty confident that we're going to get some rain out of this. That low moves northward, and while the main batch of heavy rain looks to come through, I think late Friday night into Saturday afternoon and evening, there might still be some leftover rain or showers if the low takes a track to the northeast and passes to our south in a much weaker state for Sunday. So it really is not looking good for this weekend. And then once that goes by, it looks like we'll dry out for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as another big high builds southward. And guess what? Maybe we have another situation all over again where pressures are lower off the southeast coast and something tries to develop there again late next week. So kind of a very interesting pattern here as we transition out of summer and head into autumn, which starts on Saturday, or early Saturday morning. Again, all of this we will review tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:35 p.m. So we'll see you then.